everybody, and welcome to the DV Sports and Gaming Podcast. This is a little bit of a different episode. It's going to be a short one. I'm going to try to keep it to maybe 20 or 30 minutes at the most. And we are going to cover some baseball stats, updates on standings, league leaders, all those kind of things. First off, I guess, yours truly, your host, DV Slasty, is in the house today and riding solo. So, like I said, it'll be a little different, but I'm excited to do the baseball app and update you guys on what's going on. And then we will hopefully have a normal episode with all the three brothers together here coming up soon. But without further ado, I'll jump into the baseball standings overall just to update you guys on what is going on in the major leagues, who is hot, who's not, who's starting out well. Really, I'm just going to say who's in first, and if there's any surprising teams in each division, we'll go from there. So we'll start out here in the American League. American League East, right now in first place is the Tampa Bay Rays at 23-6. Second place is Orioles, 19-9. Toronto Blue Jays are in third. Red Sox are in fourth, but they're tied basically for fourth with the Yankees right now. So that is the American League East. I would say the only thing that's been surprising really about this is how damn good the Rays have been. They have a plus 103 run differential right now, which is ridiculous. And they're just getting it done, hitting home runs, pitching well, all the above. 7-3 in their last 10, so still doing it. And the Rays have been definitely a surprise as far as how good they are. You never know what to do with the Rays, and they're getting it done. So also second place is the Orioles. That's a bit surprising. I thought they were maybe going to be last or second to last in the division, and they are proving me wrong. And here we are, Red Sox and Yankees tied for the bottom. So go Sox. But the division is admittedly probably the toughest division in the league. Everybody's over 500 or better, 15-4. Nobody has a losing record. So American League East is tough, man. There's a lot of really good teams. I don't think the Red Sox suck at all. I don't think the Yankees suck. I don't think either team deserves to be last place in a division, but here we are with both of them tied for last place in the division. Okay, so I'll dive more into individual players and stuff like storylines later, but for now we'll just keep running through these conferences. So in the American League Central, the Twins are in first at 17-12. Plus 26 run differential. So if that gives you any idea how good the Rays are, they have a plus 103 run differential, and they're in first in that division. So second place is the Guardians, and they have a sub 500 record, 13-15. Red Sox would be in second place in this division. Every team actually in the East would be in second place or better in this division. Instead, they're in last. So it's tough out there. Anyways, Central, Guardians 13-15 in second place. Tigers are in third, 10-17. White Sox are 8-21, and Royals are 7-22. So for me, the biggest surprise in this division is how bad the White Sox are. I mean, everybody knew Detroit and the Royals were going to suck, but here you are with the with the White Sox at 8-21, negative 65 run differential. It's pretty rough, and they're 1-9 in their last 10. I don't know what to say about it. I guess they're just giving up a lot of runs. I mean, that's where the run differential is happening for them. They've given up, let's see, it looks like about 183 runs so far in the season. That is the most in the division so far. And the only team I see right now that has given up more runs is the Athletics at 230. Yikes. So yeah, their pitching is not getting it done. They're actually scoring a good amount of runs, 118. That's more than the Yankees have scored. But they are giving up so many more runs that it's equalizing up to a lot of losses for them. So that's a bit surprising. They have a lot of talent on that team. Maybe they turn it around, but it's not looking good so far. Twins, Guardians, you kind of expect them to be at the top of that division. Weak division, though. So let's go on to the West and what's going on in the American League West. The Texas Rangers are off to a great start at 17-11. They're in first place. Houston Astros are in second behind the Angels. Our Angels were behind the Astros in third, and then we have the Mariners and Athletics. Again, it's pretty tough conference minus the Athletics. Everybody has a good roster, or offensive roster at least. Maybe pitching is lacking a little, some of these uh, teams, Angels and Mariners. But Rangers and Astros are coming out hot. That's going to be a good rivalry all season. And we'll see if the Rangers are real or not. I mean, they're scoring like crazy. They have a plus 72 run differential. So they're, let me see, they're the second best run differential in the league right now behind the Rays. So getting it done. I don't think there's really anything surprising here. I mean, maybe just a little bit how bad the Mariners are doing at 12 and 16. They're negative. They have a pretty good young team. They have some pitchers. They had Robbie Ray, who's a top two starter on any pitching rotation for the most part, and he's out for the season, so that's rough. Um, but yeah, Seattle may be doing a little bit worse than we expected. Angels are the Angels, was what you expect, 15 and 14. They're scoring 148 runs, giving up 130, so they're plus 18 runs differential, which is what you expect out of the Angels pretty much. Just hanging on for dear life to keep Ohtani at this point. And then we'll jump into the National League. So your division leaders are the Atlanta Braves in the East. They are followed by the New York Mets. The Miami Marlins are in third, surprising. Philadelphia Phillies are in fourth, also surprising. And then the Washington Nationals are in last, which is where you would expect them to be in that conference. So in the East of the National League, I would say the most surprising thing is the Miami Marlins are 16 and 13 in third place, right behind the Mets, who are 15 and 12. So they're right in it, 3 games back of the leader, Atlanta Braves. And it's kind of crazy because right here I'm looking at they have a negative 35 run differential, but they are finding a way to win games. So maybe them and the Phillies will flip and things will look a little more in order there. But that's a super tough division minus the Nationals. So we'll see what happens with that. I will say with the Braves and Mets, they're kind of getting it done, doing their thing. So we'll see if they can keep coasting like they are now. Central, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates, Milwaukee Brewers, Chicago Cubs, and Cincinnati Reds, and the Cardinals are in the last right now at 10 and 19, which is really surprising. You would easily, before the season, have flipped the Pirates and the Cardinals in the conference standings. Right now, the Pirates are in first, and the Cardinals are in last. I don't think anybody would have bet on that at the beginning of the year, and I don't know. I feel like maybe management is not going well for the Cardinals right now. They've had some weird stuff happen throughout the season already, um, between the manager and players, just weird situations of making guys sit out and maybe for things that you would not normally see a player sit out for. So I don't know. Weird things going on in the Cardinals organization with the management and team play. They are negative 13 run differential, and yeah, we'll see what they do. Maybe they can turn it around. They have Paul Goldschmidt, Arenado still, and a lot of young talent coming up that's hitting home runs. So maybe they'll come around. I mean, they're doing worse than the Reds. That's pretty gross, man. The Reds suck. No offense to Reds fans, but that is saddening to see the Cardinals beneath the Reds. They had the National League MVP on that team of last season on the Cardinals, Paul Goldschmidt, and they're in last. So not much to show for it. In the West, we have the Diamondbacks are in first, surprising. Dodgers are in second. Padres are in third. Giants are in fourth, and the Rockies are in last. I would just say that the Diamondbacks being in first is a surprise to this point. They're tied with the Dodgers for first at 16 and 13. And it's a tight division too between those top 4 teams. Giants are a little bit further back in the division, but they're hitting a lot of home runs and staying in the games. So maybe surprising slow start for the Padres, but they're finally getting Tatis back and getting to full strength. So I think that team's going to come back around. I don't see the Diamondbacks hanging on to the number 1 spot in that division. It'll probably go. I could easily see it going Padres, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. But that's where we're at for the league leaders. So just a quick overview of that. Rays are in first, Twins are in first in the Central, Rangers are in first of the West, and in the National League, Braves are in first in the East, Pirates are first in the Central, and Diamondbacks are first in the West. Pittsburgh Pirates and Arizona Diamondbacks coming out to play, getting it done. All right, so with that being said, we now know the standing of where the teams are at so far in the league. What I did want to do was go over a few of the league leaders to this point in the season, and we'll break it down American League and National League. So league leaders and batting average so far in the American League. I'm just going to I'll do, let's say, top 5 for this. Right now, batting 384 in the American League for the Toronto Blue Jays is Matt Chapman. If you do not know who Matt Chapman is, the guy is raking, hitting 384, which is just wild. He's a third baseman, hitting well for the Blue Jays. Randy Arozarena, the man for Team Mexico in the WBC, hitting 327. He is in second, so still getting it done. And how about that? Another fellow Rays player. This is why they're just hitting everywhere. You're going to see a lot of Rays in these top 5s. But Yandy Diaz, 319 batting average, and followed by him is Bo Bichette at 317 for the Blue Jays. So that's 2 Blue Jays and 2 Rays. All American League East players. Actually, wow, look at this. Austin Hayes from Baltimore is hitting 312 as well to round out the top 5 for the Baltimore Orioles. Those are all players from the American League East in the top 5 for average. If that doesn't tell you that the division is stacked, I don't know what will. They're getting on base, scoring runs in the American League East. And let's go over to home runs. So home runs in the American League, we're looking at Rafi Devers from my very own Boston Red Sox. He's in first at 10 home runs. A little shout out to Oakland here, soon to be Las Vegas maybe. We're going Athletics player Brent Rooker. He has 9 home runs. Adolis Garcia, he's sitting at 8 home runs for those Texas Rangers that are off to a hot start. Adolis Garcia, not really talked about that much. You know, you hear about all the big names out there, but this guy's been getting it done for the past several seasons. So if you're not watching Adolis Garcia, or if you don't know who he is, you might want to check into looking at some of his highlights so far. 8 home runs. He is 1 ahead of Mike Trout, who is 4th on the list. Mike Trout's always going to be there. You know, you expect him to be on all the hitting lists. Byron Buxton, Minnesota, as long as he can stay healthy, he will also be on the top of the list. So that is a solid home run leader list right there, top 5 guys. I'm trying to look and see what else we want to do here. Stolen bases is always fun to me. See who's the fast guys out there. League leaders in stolen bases right now is in a season where we're going to see a lot more stolen bases. We got Cedric Mullins with 11 stolen bases in first. Esteury Ruiz, who's on Oakland, has 11 stolen bases. Jorge Mateo has 10 in third. Miles Straw for Cleveland, he has 8, and Anthony Volpe for the Yankees has 8 as well. So there you go. And we'll go on to the pitching leaders in the American League. So I'm not going to go over wins yet. Maybe later in the season, that's something we can cover, but it's pretty early on. Wins is kind of a weird statistic at this point. But I do think there's been enough games where ERAs are pretty cool to look at, to see the guys that are just off to a really hot start. Earned run average. So earned run average leaders, top 5. Sonny Gray for the Minnesota Twins is at .62 ERA. Just maybe you'll get a run if he's pitching, but not likely. Garrett Cole is throwing a 1.11 ERA right now for the New York Yankees. That's just getting it done. Luis Castillo for the Seattle Mariners is throwing a 1.82 ERA up right now. Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player alive, he has 1.85 ERA. And he's hitting the homers too. He's just off the list. Shane McClanahan for the Tampa Bay Rays. Your Rays pitchers, somebody's got to be on here. They're so good right now. He's at 2.12 ERA at this point in the season. So let's see if there's anything else I want to throw on here. Not really at the moment. So with that being said, we'll jump over to the National League. league leaders at this point. So we'll go batting average here for the National League. From the Miami Marlins, you have Luis Arias, who is hitting a 438, which is just ridiculous. The only player in the 400s right now that's played the qualified amount of games. Ronald Acuna Jr. is hitting 352, getting it done for the Braves. Tyro Estrada from the Giants is hitting 346. Maybe you need to pay some more attention to Estrada. Brandon Nimmo for the Mets is hitting 330. Solid defensive outfielder, also getting it done at the plate. And Brandon Marsh, a bit of a surprise for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's got some playing time, maybe more than expected this season, but he's been getting it done at 329 batting average for the Phillies. If you don't know who that is or what a good beard is, look up Brandon Marsh and you can see what a serious, healthy beard looks like. Okay, so that's it for batting average. Arias, Acuna, Estrada, Nimmo, and Marsh. Those are all names. If you don't know about the new quality hitters in baseball, this is why I'm partly doing this. These guys are going to be next level for a while. And Luis Arias is just one of those old school contact hitters. And they're saying he's one of the players that they would think could maybe pull off a 400 batting average for the season. He's that level of a contact hitter. So home runs, we're looking at Max Muncy, that funky Muncy. He's hitting 11 home runs so far for the Dodgers. That's best in the entire MLB. Patrick Wisdom for the Chicago Cubbies, he's got 10 home runs. Pete Alonso for the Mets, he's got 10 home runs. Polar Bear Pete. Matt Olson, he's got 8 home runs. Rowdy Tellez is looking at 8 home runs as well. So you're seeing a lot of these players that were in the WBC, like Rowdy Tellez, Matt Olson, Rowdy Tellez and Pete Alonso, and some of the guys from the other list as well were active in WBC. So I think some of these guys are coming off to a better start in the season from playing in those games. Runs batted in. We're looking at. Actually, we're not gonna do runs batted in. Let's go to hits. Did we do hits over there? I don't know if I want to do hits. Home runs and batting average. Oh, we'll do stolen bases. That's right. Stolen bases. So stolen bases for the National League. Ronald Acuna Jr. is at 13. Ji-Hwan Bae for the Pirates. If you haven't seen him play, he's an exciting young player for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got 11 stolen bases. Jazz Chisholm Jr., the MLB The Show cover athlete, he's 11 stolen bases in. Nico Horner for the Cubs, he's 10 stolen bases in. And Corbin Carroll for the first place Diamondbacks, he's got 10 stolen bases as well. So a little bit of your pitching leaders in the National League. We'll go earned run average. Justin Steele for your Chicago Cubs is at a 1.19 ERA. Justin Steele. Spencer Strider for your Atlanta Braves, the young prodigy, is at 1.80 ERA. And he's got a lot of strikeouts piling up too already. Wade Miley for the Milwaukee Brewers. Wade Miley getting it done at 1.86 ERA. Clayton Kershaw looking like he's turning the clock back at 1.89 earned run average. Alex Cobb for the Giants. The Giants always have some random pitcher that's like reviving his career. 1.91 ERA for the season. So with that, that's your pitching leaders for earned run average so far. And let me see what else we got here. That's pretty much it for pitching. Strikeouts, Gallen, Strider, Logan Webb, Kershaw, Wheeler. A lot of the same pitchers you see in the other lists. So that pretty much does it for the quick MLB recap that I'm wanting to do for you guys. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of interest, a little bit of info on where the league is at right now. I will say that, being a Red Sox fan, we have a lot of hope that they'll come around, but that division is so tough. I don't know what we're going to do. But it's tough out there in the East, man. Top 5 hitters in batting average in the American League, all in the East. That's pretty crazy. So, anyways, I will say the most exciting team I've had probably watched so far this season is got to be those Texas Rangers. They're putting up runs like crazy, as well as the Tampa Bay Rays are hitting home runs. It just seems overall like the ball's flying out of the stadiums like crazy. So I've been enjoying baseball. And that's partly why I'm wanting to do this, guys, for all our listeners that like the sports stuff. This is just a quick update on what we're interested in with baseball and to keep you guys informed on what's going on around the league. So thanks, and we'll see you guys next time. We just wanted to say thanks again, everybody, for listening to this episode of the DV Sports and Gaming Podcast. With that said, we wanted to give you guys a proper outro. Here we go.
All right, guys. So please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We have DV Sports and Gaming for Instagram. Our TikTok is DV Sports Gaming, and our YouTube is DV Sports and Gaming. We post all kinds of videos, all kinds of clips, sports related, and also just gaming clips. So please subscribe and follow.
And don't forget to utilize our social medias to interact with us and give feedback on the podcast and content that we create. We want to build a community around sports and gaming with our fans and listeners. And as always, guys, thanks for listening to the DV Sports and Gaming Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.